Hi, I'm Audrey Martinovich here for Production Expert. Today we're going to take a look at the ERA 5 bundle by Accusonus. This bundle comes with 9 different plugins, and I'm going to show you how most of them work. This is a session of a singer-songwriter named Carol Lee who recorded at home and sent me the files to mix. So I usually like to start by getting rid of any problems that I hear, so any plosives or background noise or clipping, anything like that. And we've got just a couple of those little things sneaking in here. So first, let's take a look at some background noise. So there's just a little bit in our harmony track here. And if I actually zoom in on the waveform, we can see that noise floor right there. So let's take a listen to that.
The quiet rhythms on the television.
All right, so the first plugin that we're going to look at is our noise remover. So I'm going to open that up on this harmony track.
The quiet rhythms on the television.
So as soon as I turned that on, we heard that noise just completely disappear. I think this is the coolest thing, and it could not get any easier. So the next thing I want to do is take a listen to this main vocal. There are a couple of spots where there's a hint of plosive happening. Not too bad. She did a pretty good job recording it, but there's some spots where we're a little rumbly, so I want to get those cleaned up too. So I'll start by hitting this diff button, and that is going to only play the plosives that are in the recording for us so we can kind of hear them a little better. So let's check it out.
For sapphires and cowboys landing on rocks and soil, so plain like me.
And just like that, our plosives are pretty much gone. We have our processing knob, our output gain or trim, the diff button, and 2 modes, normal or extreme. And that's really all there is to this plugin. It just works. So now that we've cleaned up our vocal tracks a little bit, let's look at the saxophone track. So as you can see on our saxophone track, we have 2 clips, and I'd like to get those cleaned up. So here's what it sounds like before I do anything to it. All right, now let's open up the declipper, and I'm going to open this as an audio suite plugin so I can just render the changes that I want. And unlike our other plugins so far that had a processing knob, this one, you just pull it up and it works. You have 2 different types of processing to audition, see what works better for you, see which is a little more transparent. And same thing with quality, you have standard or high quality. So you can try out a couple of different settings, use your A/B function up here to pick out what you like. I'm going to select my audio and listen to it. So another common problem that I run into with at-home recordings is just a weird background reverb or something, like maybe the person had to record in their bathroom or whatever it is. This recording is not nearly that bad. There's just a little tiny bit of reverb, and I don't even really mind it that much, but I just wanted to see how our plugin would work on it. So on our main vocal, we're going to listen to that soloed again just to hear what the reverb is like, and then we'll open up the Reverb Remover.
Summer scorched on the outside, they're drinking salt water, diving for treasure. Summer scorched on the outside, they're drinking salt water, diving for treasure.
So in addition to our plugins that remove noise, we also have a couple in the bundle that are meant to just shape the tone of your signal. So the first one we'll look at is Voice Deepener, and I'm going to put it on this higher vocal just so we can hear what it does. Yeah.
Summer scotch on the outside, drinking salt water, diving for treasure.
So in this case, I like that light vocal kind of dancing around on top. I think that when we had the voice deepener on there, it competed with the main vocal a little too much. So we'll get rid of that for now. But I do like that plugin. It adds a little bit of weight to whatever you're processing, which can be nice. The other EQ plugin that's in here is Voice Auto EQ. So I'll pull that up on our tracks here, both of our vocal tracks this time. We'll do a little EQ on either of them. So when you open it up, it's going to start just by listening. So let's give it something to listen to.
Summer scotch on the outside, they're drinking salt water, diving for treasure. For sapphires and cowboys, landing on rocks and soil, so plain like me, on the outside, on the outside.
So right away, with just opening up the plugin and putting it on the tracks, you can hear that it's cleaned up a lot of that muddiness, and it's made it cut through the acoustic guitar a little better. As I drag around this dot to add either more body, air, or clarity, just take a listen to how that is changing the sound. So I'll do this on let's use the main vocal.
Summer scorched on the outside, they're drinking salt water, diving for treasure. For sapphires and cowboys, landing on rocks and soil.
All right, our vocals are getting more and more polished. The further we get into this bundle, let's polish them even more. So we have our voice leveler is the next thing I want to try out here. And I really like this too. This is something of a compressor, although it doesn't sound exactly the same. It's a little bit more akin to doing just volume automation on your own. So here's this voice leveler. All right, so we got our processing knob in the middle. Our breath control down at the bottom here basically just ignores anything that is a breath. Sometimes this plugin can make those breaths a little louder, but if you put breath control on, it will ignore them. And then the emphasis control is if you've got a singer who moves around a lot, so they're not always on mic, this plugin detects when some of that high frequency information is gone, so the singer might be off axis, and adds some of that back in. So I'll turn that on, and when it is adding some of those highs back in, you'll see this little LED light up.
Brief encounters leave me in dark rooms.
Our singer's fairly on mic the whole time, so we don't really need this emphasis control, so I will just leave it off for now. And I'm going to play and turn up the processing. And as I do, I'll probably pull down our output trim here. Just as we start to add more processing, it makes the quieter parts a little louder. So overall, our output volume is always going to be hotter than our incoming volume with this plugin. So that's why there is the output trim there.
Brief encounters leave me in dark rooms. Sleeping beauty light. Channel surfer swimming with the sharks. Brief encounters leave me in dark rooms. Brief encounters leave me in dark rooms. Sleeping beauty light. Channel surfer swimming with the sharks.
So as we have that on, though, I am noticing some S's start to stick out even more than they kind of did before. So let's de-ess some things here. So we've got our De-Esser plugin, and I have just fallen in love with this De-Esser. It is so intuitive. There it is. So just our one knob processing. We have two processing modes, normal, which affects a predetermined band of frequencies, and then our broad, which is a little wider of a band. So it affects a little bit more around it. And just like our Plosive Remover, we have this diff button. So if we hit that, we are only going to hear the S's. But it's always better to listen in context. So we're going to unsolo that, turn our diff off, and make sure we didn't introduce a lisp.
Brief encounters leave me in dark rooms. Sleeping beauty light. Channel surfer swimming with the sharks. Silver screen, curiously opaque, quiet rhythms on the television.
All right, let's take a listen to what it sounded like before and what it sounds like now.
Brief encounters leave me in dark rooms. Sleeping beauty light. Channel surfer swimming with the sharks. Brief encounters leave me in dark rooms. Sleeping beauty light. Channel surfer swimming with the sharks.
So if you're finding yourself running into the same problems a lot, you can set up your very own custom repair chain using the ERA Audio Cleanup Assistant. The Audio Cleanup Assistant gives you 5 slots, so you can put your 5 most used plugins right here and create your own preset to save your own plugin chains. So there you have it, the ERA 5 bundle by Accusonus. Happy mixing!